Start with this pretty lady, Jacqueline. We're going to talk about blending highlights using healing color, which is a great way that I realized that I was able to get to incredible results. Okay, how many people do we have?
Two.
Two people. That's good. I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes until everyone can have time to join us, and then I'm gonna start talking about blending highlights. Happy Easter for everyone. I hope the weekend was great. So what I'm talking about for you guys that are joining us right now, I'm using healing color of Lanza Healing Hair Care to create more dimension to my doll head. Okay, dimension, when we talk about dimension, this is all about more natural hair, and also the blending, the shadowing of the beginning of the highlights. It's something that every client, or at least most of the clients, are looking for right now. Okay, this technique that I'm gonna share with you guys is a technique that I use a lot behind the chair, not only here but when I was in Brazil. It's a technique that it's possible for me to create a more natural look. It's possible for me to make the hair look more soft with more dimension. Also, I can use that technique with corrections. Let's suppose that you got a client behind the chair that she has like a lot of stripe highlights close to the roots and she doesn't want that anymore. So this technique works pretty good on those cases. Another option for blending the gray hair. So let's suppose that the client has like less than 50% of gray hair and she has highlights and she wants to blend that gray hair, like create like kind of like a makeup on gray hair. This technique works really well. Okay, how many people we got?
7.
7 people. So we got already 3 minutes. What I'm using here, I just mixture 6 and 8. Can you show him? So I just mixed 6 and 8 with 6A in equal parts. So it's 10 grams of each one. 10 grams of 6 and 8, 10 grams of 6A with demi. And I use this formulation 1 to 2.5, okay? So it's 10, 10, 20 to 2.5. This is 50 of demi. This is a formulation, this is a mixed radio that Lanza doesn't tell you guys to do it. It's not from the company, but it's the way that, because of the texture of the product, it's the way that I think it's like the best to get the result that I'm gonna share with you guys today. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna mix this and we are about to start the application. This application is basically a 3-step application. Here with the doll head, I just finished her highlights. I went straight to the shampoo bowl, I rinsed all the bleach out, and those little stains, not the stains, but those harsh marks that it comes when you do highlights, that's what I'm going to get rid of, okay? So I just finished her shampooing. I didn't condition her hair. I just applied a little of trauma treatment leave-in to make my hair easier like to maneuver, and I mix the product and I'm going to apply before I apply the toner, okay? So this is a toner. As you guys know, healing color can be used as a permanent hair color, as a demi-permanent. I'm using as a demi-permanent because I don't want to make this color permanent, okay? I want to keep this color more natural, more subtle. So that's the reason that I chose this formulation. Again, 6 and 8 with 6A, 6 natural ash with 6 ash, 10 grams of each shade with 50 grams of demi. The mixed ratio is 1 to 2.5. 1 to 2.5. Yes, that's right. Okay? So now that I mixed my product, I'm going to start with the application. One thing that is really important to tell you guys, we need a couple tools here to do this process. One important tool is my spray bottle, okay? This process, it's funny because when I have like a client behind the chair, I always joke with them saying that the shower is included, because I constantly wetting her hair because I need this hair wet at all the time, okay? And second thing, I'm going to use our board, our special board, and a couple foils to protect her skin and also to divide any section that I'm going to use, okay? And basically, hair cutting comb, tail comb, and a brush, okay? So I'm going to start the application on the nape area. I always do on the nape because it's the place that I think I can have like more control of what I'm doing. So I have a middle part in here, and I'm going to create other two partings dividing the back of the head of the front of the hair, okay? There we go. So I'm going to show you guys. This is my first section here. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to do the second part in here. There we go. So I divided the front of the head with the back of the head so I can start working on the back, okay? I'm gonna turn this way so you guys can see. And the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take a 1/2 inch subsection here on the nape area. To start my application, okay? So I'm going to use a clip. I'm gonna put it up, and this is where I'm going to start. So basically, I started my highlights really close to the roots, where I create like that little mark, and with this product and with this technique, I'm going to take that mark and make the hair blend smooth and soft, okay? So I'm going to grab foil. This foil is going to help us just to protect the product to get in contact with the client's skin. Let me place this part on this side. Is it okay like that?
Mm-hmm.
You guys see it? Yeah? So I'm gonna ask my client to tilt her hair forward. So it's going to make my application a little easier. I'm going to comb my hair, and I'm going to use my foil to put it underneath. And just a small amount of product and really organized, I'm going to apply on her roots, okay? On the beginning of the highlights. Let's suppose that you started the highlights right here, you have to start the application right here, unless the client has gray hair. So let's suppose that you started your highlights here, but she still has some gray hair in the root area. I would apply the product starting on the root to create like a makeup on her gray hair, okay? But let's suppose that the client doesn't have any gray hair and you start the highlights right here. I will only apply the product right here, okay? So I'm going to continue my application. This is my first step of a 3-step process. I'm going to grab another section, and in this section, as you guys can see, the second section, the highlights are a little down. It's not closer to the roots. So here it's closer to the roots because it's part of her face frame, but here it's not closer to the roots anymore. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the same foil. I'm going to place the foil to protect against the underneath section, and I'm going to apply only where my highlights start, okay? Next section. And guys, if you have any questions about it, save the questions or type it up. When we're gonna have like 10 minutes pause between the first and the second step, so I'm going to respond every single question that you guys have, okay? So here, as I have like a really long section, I'm going to divide into different sections so it makes my work easier. So I'm going to divide it here. I will comb, and I'm going to apply only on the beginning of the highlights. Same thing here. Only on the beginning of the highlights. And if you guys just join us, we're doing a blending highlights using healing color. The shades that I'm using, 6NA with 6A, which is the level of her natural hair. And I use this technique to blend my highlights, or I use this technique to create more dimension, and also I can use this technique to make like correction. Let's suppose that your client has this type of highlights that she did with another person, and she doesn't want that anymore. She wants like a more natural look, more blending, more shadowing. You can definitely use this technique in this part. Okay, this is a great example of what we're doing. Every time that we do highlights, do you guys struggle creating blending here? Even if you use like the comb, like the brush upside down, even if you apply less product in the beginning of the highlights, even if you're back combing, at the end it's going to stay a little harsh in this area. So this is exactly what I'm going to take it out. Okay, so I'm going to apply product only on the beginning of the highlights. This first step, it's all about applying on the beginning of the highlights. Okay, now this way. Let me take this out. I'm gonna clean this, and same thing on this side. Look there, I have like this straight line here. I'm gonna take this out, and I'm going to apply on the beginning of the highlights. Okay, here I'm going to apply a little more up. Same thing here. Next subsection. This is a service that it helped me a lot finishing my color service, my highlighting, balayage, and the clients love this service because it creates a low maintenance result. Even after 3-4 months when the hair grows, it won't show that demarcation line because you create a blending with her natural color and the highlights. So if your client is looking for a more low maintenance process, this is to go, good to go. Okay, so I'm going to part this section here, and same thing, apply on the beginning of the highlights. Let's do another one. How many people we got?
21.
There you go, perfect. If you guys join us just now, we're using Hidden Color 6NA with 6A with Demi on a mixed ratio 1 to 2.5 to create blending, that the dimension, and make the hair look more natural. Okay, so I just did this morning highlights on this beautiful lady here, and I have some demarcation line on the beginning of the highlight. So what I'm using, it's a healing color to make that demarcation line basically disappear. I also use this technique to in corrections when the client is looking for more dimension or a natural hair, and also if the client has, let's suppose, less than 50-40% of gray hair. If you want just like a makeup of her gray hair, this technique is amazing. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys know me. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Diego Pavoni. I'm advanced healing artist. I'm located now in California, Santa Monica. Right now we are in the headquarters here in Santa Monica. I am from Brazil. I've been working with the team with Lanza for 6 years, 4 years in Brazil and 2 years here in the US. If you guys didn't have the chance to check my workout, my Instagram handle is @Diego Pavoni, Pavoni, and I I'll be honored if you guys want to ask me anything there. You can DM me, even if it's not about this live, if it's about like any other thing. I'll be more than happy to help you guys, okay? So I finished the back part of her head, applied only on the beginning. As you guys can see, the roots, there is no product in the roots. Why? Because this product that I'm using, since it's a 6MA, it's exactly the same level of her natural hair. So I'm not changing the color of her natural, I'm just creating dimension to the beginning of the highlights, okay? Now I'm going to start working on the side. I'm going to use a foil right here to protect the side of the back of the head, okay? You don't even need to clip or anything, you just put it here. There's product underneath, so the foil is going to hold. And then on vertical sections, I'm going to direct this hair towards the back of the head, extremely organized so I can see exactly where the beginning of my highlights are. I'm going to place right here. And same thing, I'm going to apply only on the beginning of the highlights. Can you come a little closer? One thing that is really important I want to show you guys, if you see here, there is a harsh line of product in the beginning, right? This is not a problem. Why? Because this is dark. This is her natural color. But if you can see in the end of my application, there is no harsh line. I did like kind of smoothing with the brush to make that color blend into the highlights, okay? So this harsh line, it's not a problem because this color, it won't change. I'm using a level 6 and she's a level 6. But here we have the highlights. So if I leave a harsh line here, definitely is going to create a mark or a bend. Cool? I'm going to continue with the application. Another vertical line. There we go. Comb, directing the hair to the back of the head and applying only on the beginning of the highlights. Same thing, I'll try like to slide my brush to create more softness in the end of the application. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'll have 10 minutes after this application to answer every single question. Landon is here helping me so he can read all the questions and I'm going to answer for you, okay? I'm almost done with this side. I'm turning first. So in the front part, in the face frame, as you guys can see, I have highlights that is closer to the roots, okay? In this case, I want that face frame more illuminated, so I won't work in the face frame on this first step, okay? I will leave the face frame to the second step. So I'm only going to take the highlights that it's a little further from the roots, okay? So this part is going to stay for the second step, and I'm going to tell you guys in a minute how I'm going to work with, okay? Now I'm going to go to the other side of the head. I'm going to fold this foil right here. Place another foil to protect the back from the front. And same thing. Let's put it this way, perfect. Same thing, I'm going to direct the hair to the back of the head. Here I have some highlights and my other highlights start around here, this area. So it's where exactly I'm going to apply it, where they start. And here they start closer to the roots. It's part of the face frame and that's it. Remember, this color, it won't change her natural. If you do the right consultation and you choose the right level and the right color, it's not gonna change. It can't change the highlight, the natural level of the client, okay? We are looking for a more natural hair, more dimension. So the ideal is to keep her natural color, So when this hair grows, it's going to make her hair look natural and it's going to be low maintenance, okay? So I'm going to apply right here, my last section. I think I have one more subsection. Beginning of the highlights, and another one, the last one. Beginning of the highlights. Perfect. So this is my first application. I will leave the processing time for this application is 10 minutes. I always let the client know that these two sections in the face frame of her head, they are really important, and she had to make sure that she's not gonna touch it. Let's suppose that she's reading a book or working with her phone or something, and automatically she puts her hair behind the ear. This hair is going to touch the dark color and it's going to stain. Okay, so you have to make sure that ask your client to leave this hair right here and no touch for 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes is going to be my first processing time of this process, okay? I want to show you guys something here before I go with the questions. Do you have some questions there, man?
We have one.
One question? Okay, perfect. I'll be right there with you guys. So, for you guys that just joined us, we are blending highlights with healing color, using healing color, okay? My formula for this beautiful lady, 6 natural ash with 6 ash. Here is 10 grams of 6 natural ash, 10 grams of 6 ash. And with Danny, I chose to use 50 grams, okay? This is not something that Lanza suggests you to do it, but after testings and testings and testings, this formulation here, 1 to 2.5, was the best one for me because of the consistency of the product, okay? I try to use like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 to make sure like to achieve like the best result, and 1 to 2.5, it was the perfect for me, okay? So 10 grams with 10 grams, it totals 20 grams. Multiplied for 2.5, it's going to be 50, okay? One thing that I want to share with you guys, the shades that I use, like the series of healing color that I use the most are NA, A, and AX. These are the 3 series that I use the most on this process, okay? If you guys, definitely you guys have like a lot of experience like I do, and you know that every time that we do highlights, the beginning of the highlights, it gets a little warmer than the rest. So that's the reason that all of this series has ash on it, okay? So the natural ash is the one that I always use because it's the one that is going to make us able to darken the beginning of the highlights because it has natural, okay? And then if I want to go a little cooler, I'll use A, or let's suppose that the beginning of the highlights are really warm, like orange or red, I can choose instead of A to use AX, okay? The most important thing after you choose the series that you're going to use, you have to determine what level your client are, okay? If your client are a level 5, you have to use a level 5 on her hair. If she's a level 4, you use a level 4. In this case, she's a level 6, so that's the reason that I chose this formulation, okay? This first step, let me check how many time I have. Okay, so this first step, it's my first application. As I said to you guys, we have 3 steps to get to the result of this hair, okay? So basically here, let's suppose that here it's a strand, here's my client head, and this is a strand, okay? So this strand, I did highlights, and I create a demarcation line on my highlights right here, okay? So, is it okay to understand that? So, this is blonde, decolorized, this is natural, and this is where both of them join, okay? Like it's the demarcation line. So what I did right now, I took like my 6NA with 6A plus demi, and I applied here, right in the demarcation line that I have, okay? And as I told you guys, the processing time, it's 10 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna wait 10 minutes until this hair gets a little darker, and I'm going to go with my second application. My second application, I'm not gonna use any product, at least in the part that I already used product. I'm going to use a clean brush. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this product of this section here, and I'm going to slide it down, okay? So what I'm going to do with my second application, which I'm going to leave for 5 minutes, I'm going to start creating my fade, start creating the shadowing, okay? And after 5 minutes, I'm going to again slide it down, and then it's going to do this. So it's going to create like a dimension on the beginning of the highlights to the ends of the highlights, and this last section I'm going to leave for 1 minute, okay? So if you guys think with me how long this part here, this first application, stayed in contact with the hair. So it's 1 minute plus 5, 6 plus 10, 16 plus the time of the application that I would say 10 minutes. So this part here stays 26 minutes. So it's going to get really, really dark. It's going to get to a level 6 because it's total time. We know that the total time of a toner is around 20 minutes. I left for 26 minutes, so I got 100% of time to the toner act 100%, okay? This part here, it stayed 1 minute, 5 minutes, so 6 minutes with these 2 timers, and then let's suppose that 8 minutes of application. So it's 1, 6 with 8, 14. So this one, it's 14 minutes in the hair, okay? And this last one is just 1 minute plus my application. Let's suppose that it's 6 minutes. So this stays for 7 minutes on the hair. So that's the reason, because of the timing and also the way that I apply the product, that's the reason that I create that dimension, that fading, that shadowing, okay? Is that okay for you guys? You guys have any questions?
We had one question while you were applying the side,
Okay.
the horizontal section, the vertical section.
Okay.
She asked, won't you get bleeding through to the other subsections?
No, because if we think that on the side of the head, most of the highlights that I did, they are in the same level, okay? So let's suppose when I do highlights, I don't use vertical sections. I use like diagonal sections to create more blending, to create more shadowing, okay? So let's suppose that I use like 3 sections here on the side, on diagonals. All of these sections, I keep them on the same level. So even if there is bleeding to the other side, it's not gonna create any problem, because on the other side also I have highlights. So the application works pretty perfect, okay? That's cool?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 more minutes. I'm going to keep my application going on so you guys can see what I'm going to do next, okay? So let's suppose that 10 minutes went away and we need to go to the next step. Guys, always 10 minutes. Make sure that you are depositing, make sure that you are depositing product and leave it for 10 minutes. It's enough time, okay? So I'm going to let me turn this so you guys can see. First thing that I'm going to do, a lot of hairs, they get dry really fast, okay? So if I touch this hair here, it's a little drier. So what I'm going to do, using my spray bottle, I'm going to wet this hair And wetting the hair is going to create more softness on my application, and also is going to protect this hair in case any of this product touches the ends, okay? So let's suppose that I'm working and accidentally I put some product here. If the hair is wet, I still have time to use a towel and the spray bottle and take the product out, and it won't stay. It won't stand. But let's suppose that this strand is dry. If this strand is dry, definitely is going to stay, okay? So I just wet this hair right here. I'm going to turn. How many people we got in them?
14.
There we go, there we go. I'm gonna wet here the front part. As you guys can see, Jacqueline has some water on her face. I always play with my clients. The shower is included on this process. And now I'm going to go to the side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this section. There we go. I'm going to take this section here and I'm going to put it down like this and take my foil out. You see here, there is bleeding here, right? From my section of the side. But I don't need to worry at all with this. Why? Because the color that I'm using, it's the same color of her natural. So this color, you won't change her natural color. So this is not a problem. I can apply, if I want to apply something like this here, there's no problem because this is the same level of her natural, so you won't change her natural color, okay? I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to take this out. Comb to organize. I'll put it down and take this out. And then I'm going to work on the back of the head again, okay? So basically what I'm going to do on the back of the head, now working with a clean brush, I'm going to take all the product out of the brush. So there's no product anymore on my brush. By the way, this is a Lanza brush that I am in love with. This is a must. Let's do it. So I'm going to ask Jacqueline again to get her head down. I'm going to start on the nape area with a little subsection here on the back. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to place a foil on her neck. Foil on her neck, and I'm going to slide the clean brush a little down. So basically what I'm doing is this, guys. I apply this first one and I'm sliding down to the second one, okay? So I'm going to get another section here. Always working on horizontals on the back of the head. Definitely you can use diagonals if you want. You can use verticals if you want. This is a technique that I think it's good for me, but not necessarily you guys have to do exactly what I did, okay? You guys can create a way that you think that's going to be best, but it works for me, so if you reproduce that, for sure it's going to work for you as well, okay? Now, another section. This second application is way faster than the first one because I don't need to apply product. I just have to go with the product that it's already in the head, a little down to create shadowing, to create blending, okay? A little down. If you have an assistant that can help you hold the hair here, you can do this process really faster, okay? Assistants, you know, always saving hairstylist lives. I used to work with assistant in Brazil. Actually, I had a couple assistants in Brazil, so I always had her helping me here holding the strand up. One thing that I always tell her if one of you work with assistant, when she's holding the hair here, let's suppose that the client has a really long hair, she must pay attention on the ends of the hair, because sometimes she's holding the hair like this, and then the ends touch the place where there is dark product. If touches here and you don't see, by the end of the process you're gonna have some stains on the ends of the hair. So always ask your assistant to hold the hair with both hands and keep the ends safe, okay? This is a really important tip. Now I'm going to go down a little more. Next subsection. Again, down. I'm going to come to organize and down. Same thing on the side. I'm going to take a foil. I'm going to protect the side of the head. I'm going to grab all the strands that are already applied product, and I'm going to direct to the back of the head again. And I'm going to use my clean brush just to go down a little more with the product. One more strand. It's important to let you guys know, when you see me combing the hair here, when I comb, I'm not touching where I have product. I'm combing where it's dry with no product. Because if I comb here, I'm going to push this product to the back, I'm going to pull this product to the ends, and I can create stands, so again, it's not what I'm looking for, okay? So just put it down, and I'm going to turn this to the other way. I'm going to place another foil to protect the back of the head and also protect the front. My comb right here, perfect. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Look, when I comb, I direct my comb where there is no product. And then clean brush. One more section. Clean brush. If you guys want to see some hair with this result, you definitely can go on my Instagram. I post a lot of content there. 85% of my followers are from Brazil, so I post a lot of content in Portuguese, but sometimes I do speak English or I put the translation, okay? But also I have my TikTok account, which is at Diego Pavoni as well. Diego Pavoni, P-A-V-O-N-I, okay? And on TikTok, it's only in English, okay? So if you guys want to check some of the results that I achieved with this technique, you can definitely check me out there. Also, I'm going to tell you, if you guys can, after this application, I'm going to stop for a minute so you guys can screenshot your screen right now, and you can post on your stories on Instagram, and then you can tag me that I will repost every single one of you. And if you use this technique behind the chair one day and you want to share the result with me, please tag me because I'll be happy to see the result that you achieve with this technique, okay? So now I have the face frame, show him. So I have the face frame where my highlights go closer to the roots, right? So I'm going to apply, I place a foil here that is going to protect. I'm going to take just a little of product right here in the tip of my brush, and I'm going to apply in the beginning of the highlights, right here, right in the face frame. That's it. Okay? Same thing on the other side. Let me turn her. Now I'm going to protect the hair against the sides. I'm going to divide only my section from the side of the head. I'm going to comb backwards to protect the hair. Just a little product, and I'm going to apply on the beginning of the highlights. Since this product is going to stay only for around 10 minutes, it's going to stay for 5 minutes, and then my next application, almost 10 minutes, a little less than that. This product is not gonna take the highlights from the beginning of the roots out. It's not gonna dark out as 100%, okay? So even if you guys want that really light roots around the face frame, you still can do that, which is not, that's not gonna dark the highlights, okay? And same thing on the top of the head on her bangs. Let me turn this way so you can see. Right here, perfect. Same thing here. I'm going to take my section from the bangs. I'm going to comb towards the back. As you guys can see, I always try to work the most organized possible, so I can make sure that my work is going to be perfect, okay? Sometimes working with color, if you're not organized, you can lose some of the control and the result might come as you're not expecting, okay? So I'm applying here, and then that's it. I'm going to leave for 5 minutes, okay? I'm working on this second step here. As you can see, 5 minutes is my processing time. So if you guys, if you just join us right now, we're using healing color from Lanza Healing Hair Care to blend the highlights of this beautiful model, okay? So what I did, I applied my first section only on the beginning of the highlights, starting on the nape area. So I left for 10 minutes the processing time for this first application, and then with the clean brush, I can just slide it down the product a little more, okay? And when I got to the sides, the face frame, the sides and the bangs, I applied for the first time on the second step of the process, okay? Now after 5 minutes, I'm going to comb this hair. I will leave it for 1 minute, and I'm going to go to the shampoo bowl to rinse it out, okay? And after rinsing, I'm going to apply the toner that I want to do it. If I want a toner that is more warm, I can choose like a 7GC that I love. It's like one of my favorite series. Or if I want something cooler, I can use like a 9P, 10B, whatever. And after this process, you definitely can go to the shampoo bowl to start your toning process, okay? Sometimes when the client, let's suppose that the client just wants like subtle highlights, not too light, I can also use this technique combined with the toner. So in this step that I just did right now, I would slide the product on the roots and apply the toner on the length. Next step, slide the product, apply the toner. So when I'm done, I'm going to have to wait 5 minutes for this step, and then I'm going to do the next step, and the hair is going to have the toner on the length and also the blending on the roots. Cool? Do we have any questions, London? It's all good? Everybody's good? Okay, so if you guys want to take a screenshot right now of our class, and if you guys want to tag me on Instagram, I'm going to repost this. So I'm going to do something like this and screenshot. There you go. Thank you so much. One more. There you go. So thank you so much for being here. We're not done yet. Way down. I'm still have like 3 minutes. I still have 3 minutes, and I'm gonna show you guys how I comb this process to finish, to make this hair look pretty and for you to make more money behind the chair. Okay? This technique, after you did this technique on your client and she realized that after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, her hair still looks great, trust me, she's not gonna let you go. Never. Even if you move to another city, she's gonna call you, where are you at? I need you. You know, it's something that it happens. When I was in Brazil, I had like some clients that was like looking for me. It's funny because now I live in LA, and some clients text to me, hey Diego, when you're coming back to Brazil because I need my hair done. You know, it's crazy. Like I'm like maybe 5,000 miles away, and the client still wants me to do her hair. So if you use this technique for me was a game changer. If you want, like, if you have like any question, let's suppose that you try this technique this week on an assistant or in the receptionist of your salon and it didn't work well, please hit me up on Instagram, DM me, hey Diego, I did this and didn't work, and I'm definitely gonna help you out. Okay, again, my favorite shades are natural ash, always natural ash. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm always going to use natural ash. Natural ash, if you guys don't know, natural ash is a double pigmented hair color. So it has more pigment to make the hair a little darker. So I'm going to use natural ash with ash or with AX. Okay, ash or AX. AX is kind of green tone. It's the complementary color for red hair. So let's suppose that the hair is like really warm and you're looking for cooler results. AX, okay? So always like, let's suppose 10 grams of this with 10 grams of this, or 10 grams of this with 10 grams of this, okay? And one thing that you have like to make sure that you're doing right, you definitely can use our color book to help you out. It's to make sure what level you're working with. If you're working with a level 4, you have to choose level 4. If you're working with a level 7, you have to choose a level 7 to not dark the natural hair of the client. Okay? Now we're going to go to the last step. This step is really fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to protect her bangs right here. Can you come closer? What I do, since I have this foil here that is helping me, I'm going to protect her bangs. I'll do this. This one, I'm going to take out of the way. And same here, I'm going to take this out of the way, taking the foils out. Okay? Same thing on the side. I'm gonna take out of the way, and here out of the way. And in the back, same thing. I'm going to take this foil out of the way, and the ends of her hair, it's getting dry. What I'm going to do? Spray bottle. I need to wet this hair to make sure that this color, when I comb this color down, it's not gonna stain her ends and her highlights. You don't want to stain your highlights in this part of the process that you are almost done. Can you imagine you have to foil this hair again because you stained the ends of the hair? So you have to make sure that the hair is completely wet. Okay? This is a game changer. This is the best hack and tip. Okay? Now tilt the client's hair down, head down. Tail comb. I'm going to make a parting and comb down. Oh Diego, but you're combing down a dark level 6 product to the ends of the hair, which is light. It's not gonna dark the ends or stain. No, it's not gonna dark or stain. It's going to, this product is going to stay for only 1 minute. After I'm done with this application, I'm going to go direct straight to the shampoo bowl, and it's not gonna stain. It's not gonna dark. Okay? If something happens with the ends, what is going to happen? It's going to cool down the tone a little, okay? Because we're using a level 6 and also a 6A, which is a 6X. If the clients want something cooler, you already went the halfway, okay? Whoops. There you go, now I got it. So let's suppose that your client is looking for a cooler tone. So this is going to help you, right? This is going to help you because it's going to cool down a little more the tone. If the client wants a warm tone, you just have to apply a warm tone on top of it and it's going to be 100% perfect. Okay, so this is, let me go this way so you guys can see. Now I'm combing the product. Here, same thing, combing. And now, here, the bangs, combing. I want to show you guys here, look how blended it is. You can see where the highlights starts. So this is a game changer, guys. I'm gonna leave this product for 1 minute and I'm going to go straight to the shampoo bowl to rinse it out, this product, and then apply the toner, okay? How do you guys like it? I think this is a great way to make more money behind the chair and to make your clients like go crazy with your results. So if you guys need me for anything, if you guys have any other question, please leave it in the comments. I'm gonna dedicate a couple minutes after I'm done with this model to respond to every question. And also it's easier to find me on Instagram at Diego Pavoni, P-A-V-O-N-I. I'm there. DM me anytime if you need me, if you have any questions about this process or about any other Lensa product, I'll be more than happy to help you guys, okay? So it's 10:52, thank you